Welcome back to Gear of the Common Game. Today we're going to finish out the row with number 820's Blim Comedic Genius. For 4 mana we get a 4/3 flying imp. That's not why we're playing Blim though. Whenever Blim deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of a permanent you control. Then each player loses life and discards cards equal to the number of permanents they control but don't own. So this is where we give our stuff away. Now, there's no blue in it, so we don't have a lot of the donate and the things that we like to donate, like illusions and stuff like that. But it's pretty fun. However, now, before we get into the actual deck, there is a card I fear in this deck, and that's why I have 3 cards dedicated to eliminating it. And that is Homeward Path. I have Field of Ruin, Encroaching Waste, and the Fulminator Mage. So, that being said, it's a lot of fun. In addition to our commander, we have the Bizarre Trader and Harmless Offering, the art that gets creepier the longer you look at it, as additional ways to give out our stuff. And then we have stuff like Despotic Scepter, just in case something happens. We play a game with, tens of thousands of pieces, and it's hard to know exactly what's going to transpire in the game. So, as a panic button, we got the old Splat Stick here, and Telemtor's Edict as a one-shot of it. Now, there's a couple of different categories here. There is stuff that it doesn't matter who controls it, and there is stuff that we want to give them. But before we get into that, we've got to cast these cards. So let's look at our mana fixing, shall we? The first one I want to talk about is Agent of Stronghold. While this is not ramp in any way, it does allow you to fix your mana. You can turn red into black. Now, you can't turn black into red. That's a wholly different card, but I like it, and 820 decks, this is the first time I've used it. So we have Soul Ring, Iron Mirror, Leaden Mirror, Spectral Searchlight, Rakdos Cluestone, Signet, Key Rune, Charcoal Diamond, Guardian Idol, Commander Sphere, and Dark Ritual. A little bit of card draw, not a whole lot. Underworld Connections, Night's Whisper, Sign in Blood, and Humble Defector comes in here perfectly because it exchanges control. In this particular deck, it might be a really good odds that you'll get the Defector back. Now, I have had a chance to play this. I did some very disgusting things with this deck. Never drew the Humble Defector, though. So let's look at cards we want to give away, shall we? Gold Knight Castigator. 4 mana for a 4/9 flying haste? That's awesome. Except, double all damage dealt to you and double all damage dealt to it. Yeah. So, yeah. Lich's Tomb. You don't lose the game for having 0 life. Whenever you lose life, sack a permanent for each life you lost. Wow. This can eat up somebody's board real quick. Now, the one thing I did get to do is I get to... you all know Danny. You've seen a lot of his decks on here. I was able to give Danny the Immortal Coil, and he only had like 1 card left in his library. So, yeah. It did feel kind of disgusting. It did. Wow. Nefarious Lich. Even Drake. A player cast a spell, you lose a life. Wow. That's the hurting. Of course, we have Sleeper Agent. It does it on its own. It goes somewhere else, Wretched Anurid. Another creature comes into play, you lose a life. This is one that, especially if somebody's out there doing tokens, man, I'd love to give that away. Master of the Feast. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent draws a card. I want to give this away. I want to draw that card. Abyssal Persecutor, probably the card that y'all were thinking of to start with. Yeah, you can't win and your opponents can't lose. This is a perfect card to to donate, right? As well as the Phyrexian Negator. 5/5 trample for 3 is no joke, but when it's dealt damage, you sack a permanent for each 1 damage. That's Rust Elemental. Yeah, I know that this is it looks like just a pile of cards you would never play with. That's the point. And the deck did surprisingly well. At the beginning of your upkeep, sack an artifact other than Rust Elemental. If you can't tap it, lose 4 life. That's not as, but it forces them to start sacking their mana rocks, Jinx Choker, Steel Golem, can't play creatures. Grid Monitors, can't play creatures. Stormfist Crusader. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card and loses a life. This is one of those that it doesn't matter who controls it. It'd be cool if you could, untap and send it around the table over and over again, but everybody's going to draw, everybody's going to lose. There are things like some things that, it doesn't matter who controls Caltrops. They're, it's going to do the same thing. Havoc Festival, same thing. It doesn't matter who controls it. Armageddon Clock. Assault Suit. Now, I know on the surface, Asmodeus the Archfiend doesn't look like it belongs in here, but now, hold on. What if they can't produce black mana? It's mean, right? If you would draw a card, exile the top card of your library face down instead. And then all the rest, the other 2 abilities require black mana. And if they cannot produce black mana, don't have an Urborg in the deck. Maybe some of that land removal might, if this comes in play and there's an Urborg, Demonic Pact. Now, this is a beautiful card because if it leaves play, it resets, right? But it's not leaving play. During your upkeep, you're going to keep it around for a couple of turns and then give it away. So that the only choice left is you lose the game. Aggressive Mining. How to combat Landfall 101. Donate a aggressive mining to them. It's harmless. Here you go. Lich's Mastery. Drooling Ogre. Yeah, this is one that gives itself away too. Player plays an artifact, they get it. Measure of Wickedness. At the end of your turn, sack it and lose 8 life. Yeah, I think I want to give that away. And whenever another card's put in your graveyard from anywhere, you give this away. So it's perfect. Forbidden Crypt. I love cards that say lose the game. And then the Plague Reaver. Now, I do have a weird category here. There's some stuff, obviously we want to protect our commander with the Swiftfoot boots. Dalthy Trapper. Now, this is in there just because I'm an agent of chaos sometimes. And I love to target creature gain shadow. It does help Blim deal combat damage. That's kind of why it's in there. But I also love that sowing chaos thing. We have Diabolic Tutor, Raise Dead, Death Watch. I like Death Watch. Rakdos Charm, Delirium. Now our removal, we have Doomblade, Bedevil, Cast Down, Murder, Tragic Slip, and Dark Banishing. Try to keep things off of us. Now, we have a lot of non-basics here, so let's get through it. Desert of the Fervent, Rakdos Guildgate, Tressorhorn Sinks, Urborg Volcano, Bloodfell Cave, Rogue's Passage. Gotta have it for a deck where we want to deal commander damage. Graven Cairns, Evolving Wilds, Rakdos Carnarum, Alchem Refuge, Desert of the Glorified, Terramorphic Expanse, Command Tower, and Myriad Landscape. And that is Blim. I had a lot of fun building Blim. Had a whole lot of fun playing him. That one play, though, I felt terrible because it was early in the game, probably turn 5 or 6, and whew, I mean, it did nasty things. So let's go over here, and my room is a mess, y'all. Getting ready to get Christmas stuff down. It's tree day today. If y'all want to know what that means, I'll do a separate video on it. But anyway, that is what we have got for today. I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll catch you next time. Right now, we're going to go ahead and shuffle and cut.